there is this natural flow of it. So how do you get good topic? For example, maybe you join some conferences, maybe you attend certain lectures, maybe you read newspapers or you read books, maybe you read anything else. You actually observe. You what you do, you observe, and then you realize something interests you. Something interests you. Something is challenging. Something is not really settled, and you feel that this is something that needs to be clarified. So you start to get the title or topics. However, in our process, I already offered you a list of topics, yeah, because I remember in some classes before, in some semester before, I had waited my students to propose, but very few will come with proposal. Some others were blank, some others were not sure, uh, perhaps because a lot of things are new to them. So in many situations, I came up with this list, yeah, to help people, based at least based on what I saw. These are among the topics that would be interesting for you to do. So I give you choice. Some of you, most of you already took the choice. Some others had their own choice, which is fine. Yeah. So I hope by now you get that topic. Actually, the other way to do is actually you look at our course outline. You look at our course outline, especially the one I wrote on my blog. Already came up with more sub questions. You know, if you then compare and cross check with some reading materials, then you start to get some ideas. You know, so that is fine. We already skip that process. Now you already have the titles. So with the titles, you have to formulate the question, the problem, yeah, because some topic which is too general, some of them already have certain parts which are clear, certain others which are not clear. Of course, this research to come up with something new. Therefore, you are not rediscussing. You are not repeating what people have mentioned, unless you want to do modification or you want to do improvement from what has been discussed. So how do you do that? You do literature review. You do literature review. So literature review will help you. Yeah, literature review will help you to find out what is the part that you want to highlight. Yeah. So after you get all this, then you formulate your objective. Your objective with this paper is I want to discuss for example, the legal position of certain matter in respect of Malaysian law, for example, or any other law of your country or of your choice whatsoever. Yeah. So at least for your presentation, we need this outline. We need this outline. What is your objective? What is the research questions? Research question will help you to reach the objective. For example, we want to know the legality of online shop lah, for example. So we have few research question. Normally, not more than 5, not less than 3. Yeah, between 3 to 5 research question. This will actually be your sub issues. Yeah. From there, then you start looking at a literature review. Yeah, I will be interested to know how much you have the resources to refer to. Yeah, what you do with literature review, you highlight the work. Is it from paper journal, from books, from any other sources or materials? Then you highlight what is it that is relevant from that works into your work. Yeah, maybe not everything, but he mentioned in certain parts of his work about something this and this, and this one is becoming the basis of your analysis, for example. Or maybe you want your paper wants to improve from that discussion. So the idea of having literature review is to make sure you are not repeating what people have done. Yeah, literature means you know what has been done in the past and what is it that you want to do more. Yeah. So the best way to do literature review is to look at the writing from journal papers, because journal papers is very up to date. You want to know what people write about for example, cyber terrorism. So go to the academic journals, and academic journals you can search on your own. We have some websites, some databases, either online free access or using the databases belonging to IIUM. So at least five papers will be good enough to give you basis what has been said about this, who has said that, and how your paper is going to add into all those existing literature rather than repeating, yeah, what has been said. So how is your paper will be different, and to add on the from the body of knowledge that has been in place. Okay, so literature review must come from these academic writings, either journal papers or conference, yeah, conference papers, conference presentation, which is the papers, not the slide, yeah. Slide is not counted, but proper paper is counted. And then also from manuscript or books, yeah. So we want to we want to exclude slides. We want to exclude news story. Yeah, news story means from newspapers or online news. No, we want to exclude that. You can always put this news story in your background of research. Yeah, based on the story by CNN in December 1st, 2020, that the blah 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 blah. So this is just a background, not as part of the literature review. You exclude Wikipedia article. Yeah, Wikipedia can help you to go to further research, but not as a work by itself. Yeah, so you exclude those, and you normally exclude blogs. Yeah, blogs like my blog, it is not an academic writing. Yeah, the blog is not considered academic writing, therefore it is not, normally it is not qualified for being academic literature review.
Doctor,
Yeah.
what about the website? For example, the law firm website. Usually, they give us the information.
Yes,
Setelah,
but normally they are short articles and short essay.
yeah,
Normally
yeah.
they are short essays. I would not consider that as the main literature review. Maybe you want to add it as a backup or as a what supporting references, but not as a literature review. And remember that these are mostly written by lawyers. So they are lawyers. When they write, they write differently from academics. They write for, as lawyers. They want to, number one, they may want to educate to public, but number two, they will also secretly say that if you need more help, you let me know. Something like that. So it is actually a tool of marketing as well. When you see that would be the difference will be on certain law firms who does have some website dedicated for resources. Yeah, that will be quite different. For example, I remember Becker and McKenzie. They are quite active in building up their own resources rather than simply uh, showcasing their lawyers and then promoting their services. So you need to be selective on this. Okay, so we want to see your outline. Maybe I will give you more details, but outline normally it is not more than 5 slides. So we want you to present it to nicely, properly, what you do, what is it that you're going to achieve with this paper. Yeah, this somehow will cut short your work because you're doing the same things. I think presentation, if I'm not mistaken, it will be 10% or 15%. I forgot. Let me just check back. But the paper will be 30%. Okay. And this one, I think we will do sometime later. Not this week, not next week. Maybe another 2 or 3 weeks after this. Yeah. Okay. And if we cannot do it in my lecture, you can prepare to have it like individual session. Yeah. For presenting this. And then what about the paper itself? Okay, as I said, the deadline is end of semester. And what about the rules? Not many rules. It's basically an academic writing rules. Number one, novelty. There must be some some level of novelty, meaning something new from you. You are not simply copying what people wrote, not in terms of copying idea. Copying idea, sometimes if we have read this somewhere, maybe we'll be able to spot on this is not new enough. How to make it new? Then you need some time alone, do your own reading, and then uh, do your own deep, thinking analysis. I mean, how to basically make it an original thinking of yours. So that normally helps me when I want to look at things and try to ponder on it on your own, and then maybe it can help. Or some people, what they do is they take it to the discussion. For example, Farah wants to discuss with Imran, yeah, exchange on these two topics, and then you will get some ideas. So make sure it is novel. Number one. Number two, anti-plagiarism, meaning you avoid this practice of plagiarism. What amounts to plagiarism? Meaning you are uh, using other works as if it is your work. So by not providing credits, number one, and number two, not only not providing credit. Sometimes people do provide credits, but they quoted too many. They quoted too many parts from other work. That doesn't make the work original, because there was too many quotes, too many copying, even though you credit the author. So that also does not pass the test of originality. Yeah. So another thing is that the length. What about the length? I was having this idea that it should be more or less 5,000 words. Yeah, at least. Yeah, between 5,000 to maybe 7,000. Yeah, or maybe let's say I can consider between 5,000 to 10,000. Yeah, how do you consider? How do you imagine? Look, if you write single space, okay, no double space, no one and a half, but just one single space. Normally, within one paper, you can get between 400 to 500. Yeah, between 400 to 500 words. That is my standard if you write single spacing. Yeah. So if you have one single spacing page text of 500 words, so the minimum will be 10 pages. Yeah, 10 pages. So it has to be elaborate, because we allocate a lot of marks there. So try to elaborate between 10 pages to 20 pages. I'm not fancying 20 pages. So maybe 10 is good enough, yeah, for you. So let me just consider again. I can actually lower it to 4,000. It's okay. 4,000 can do. Yeah, because in the past I remember I also put 4,000 can do. So it's about 8 pages. Yeah, but this is not open for negotiation. Yeah.
Uh, Excuse
So
me,
the,
Prof. May I ask something?
yeah. Okay.
Is it good enough for a good article to publish in a scholarly journal?
To publish in?
In a journal, four
Yeah.
thousand.
Okay. You mean you want to target your paper to be published? Is it?
Yeah, yeah, Prof. Exactly.
That is I think the ultimate hope, the ultimate situation. So what I'm saying, the by giving you this guidance, yeah, with the originality, novelty, and this academic writing, as well as the style later on. So I hope, yeah, any of these papers can qualify for academic journals. So why don't you target for something like this? Yeah, what you can do is what is more important is, of course, well, as I said, the novelty as well as the methodology. Yeah, so if you are strict on this and follow this properly, inshallah it can be further modified. Yeah, after this semester, further modify it and qualify for a journal, inshallah. That one we can do, inshallah, later. But if you want to put a strict rule on yourself from now, up to you. I mean, I'm more than happy to see more rigorous way of writing. Um, you may want to look at the papers. You may want to learn from IUM Law Journal, for example. It's not very complicated rules actually, except that maybe when you start writing the references. Okay, now this is very important part. References must be there as an academic writing. How you write references? There are three ways. Either in the text, yeah. For example, after I said this, then there is a bracket written by Sundar. So I put Sundar year 2010, comma page 15. So meaning I refer to this. So where do you get the full name of the work? Later on in the bibliography. So you can check. Okay, he referred to Sundar's work. So you check in the bibliography. Yeah, that's how we do. That's the first one. In text reference. Second, what we do as footnoting. You must be familiar by now about footnoting. So but the style is quite different. I can say at least there are five popular way of writing the footnotes. For example, okay, name should be first, but even the name sometimes they want you to write full name. Some others they just want you to write the surname first, and then you short form the first name. For example, Sonny Zulhuda becomes Zulhuda, comma S. Yeah, but some other way will say you must write Zulhuda, comma Sony. So different way. I'm not very strict on this at the moment. As long as you follow, what I can advise you, go to IUM Law Journal website. You may want to follow that kind of style. Yeah, because this IUM Law Journal, I must tell you, is now very becoming very reputable, because our law journal is already indexed, yeah, in a world web of science. Yeah, web of science is one of reputable index, yeah, like Scopus. Maybe you have heard about Scopus. Then there is web of science, WOS, and there are others also. So our IM Law Journal is a good choice. If you want to publish anything, you may want to choose this journal.
Prof.
So you can do footnoting, yeah, or some other way is also endnotes. You put a note at the end, yeah. But if you ask me to prefer, most of this journal that we see is requires you the footnoting, yeah, either footnoting or in text, but footnoting is quite common. Okay, so after footnoting, you don't need to put your bibliography. It's okay, everything already in the footnotes. So that is it. Let me write down all these rules later on, and to remind you about these technical rules. Yeah. Any question from there?
Prof.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask, how about if we refer to the Chicago style? Is it the same like IUM?
I have heard about Chicago style and then APA style, but I'm not very sure which one is IUM Law Journal following. Yeah, must be
Yeah,
either one. Yes.
Prof. So far I know, I mean, I heard it from class research methodology.
Okay.
Prof said IIM follows either APA or IIM has
I'm not
their
sure
own.
actually. What do you know?
Yeah, I know that IIM follow his own rule, and another one is
Okay.
APA. APA.
APA.
Yeah, yeah.
So IUM Law Journal follows APA, you say?
APA and also has IIUM has
Oh,
its own style also.
so it's like a mix rule lah.
Maybe.
Yeah, don't worry. As far as our class is concerned, you don't worry about it. As long as if you follow one style, you follow it throughout the paper. Yeah, don't mix lah. Nanti jadi gado-gado. Yeah, so make the
Bagus
whole
Sonny.
thing same style. Yes, yes, Farah.
Doctor, I want to ask about the you said that novelty, which is that something my own idea, right? How can
Mm.
I know that my idea is not I'm not repeat the idea of others? Because yes, you know that we are reading very our reading is very limited, right, sir? maybe we just read around 10, 10. I think 10 is
Okay,
uh
okay.
10.
I don't want to discourage you, okay, but you there must be a start for something. So we don't want to discourage you by saying novelty, then you are being hesitant whether this is something new or not. You just try your best. But we can see, for example, if you use some literature review which is considered representative enough, I think at least to some extent you will get that idea what has been written by others. You don't simply copy those writing based on your literature review. Yeah. And to do that, it is better to choose your literature review comprising of either classic work and recent works. So at least in recent works, you can get the idea what has been said. What has been said. Sometimes it looks so new in Malaysia, but maybe in the US, in UK, that has been repeatedly written. So, but uh, no, as I said, just do your best. Just do your best. Even if I think there is some similarity, so maybe I will try to advise you, why don't you look at certain side of matters, and if not, you just proceed. Yeah. So we just do husnuzon here, and we are not going to make sure everything is new. Yeah. There is people say there is nothing new under the sun. But to some extent the expression must be new. Yeah. Maybe you have been saying what people have said in the past 10 years, but the way maybe your expression is new, and then your points of emphasis would be new, and you can actually make a novelty by way of emphasizing on what jurisdiction. Maybe people have been talking about this from the perspective of American legal system. What about Malaysian legal system? This is also the novelty that you can bring about into your paper. Yeah, there is always a start for everything. This is new to you all, uh,
Bro,
but it's gonna be enjoyable. Yes, Allah, yes.
sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
Is it only we have to write about like research question and objectives and literature review, or do we have also to write about hypothesis, content,
Ah,
and chapterization?
okay. Actually, I haven't made a complete, you know, representation of what is needed, but more or less is about that. It's about the outline of research, which normally include as well the hypothesis or limitation. But and as a matter of fact, yeah, a law paper doesn't have to always have the hypothesis. I mean, hypothesis is either made obvious or non-obvious. But if you want to make it obvious, what is your hypothesis? It's okay. Yeah. What is very, very important for me, number one, what is your background? What takes you to this research? Number two, what is the objective? And in order to help you reaching this objective, what is your research question? So this research question can help you uh, analyzing this objective. And literature review is a must, wajibul wujub. Yeah. And then last but not least would be yeah, I think your deliberation of it. For example, yeah, you mentioned about chapterization. Yes, we are interested to know how do you go about your research. So first you're going to talk about what, next, in few paragraphs. That will be nice. But remember, this is not, as far as the presentation is concerned, I'm not expecting you to write the text. Yeah. So we just want to hear from you in terms of slide. So you can put the point in point format. What is your objective, your research question, so and so. Yeah. Also in literature review, what, for example, the work number one from Mr. So and so, written in 2010, published in what and what. Then you highlight the point in point format. Yeah, and why you think this work is relevant for your work, and how is it going to be different from your work, or how is your work going to be different from the existing work. And at the end will be chapterization, which is fine. Then that's it. I think we don't have to go for finding. No, I'm not asking for finding. Maybe later on you can get your conclusion in your proper paper. Yeah. By the way, since I am the one who gave you the topics and you have taken those topics that I chose for you, in case you have anything to ask or clarify what is, what could be the main issue, you can ask me. Yeah, but on private message lah, not in the class. So you can ask me if you want to clarify on certain things. Yeah, which include. Um, yeah, I'm just afraid that you have different understanding when you read the title from what I intend initially. Okay.
Doctor,
Any other question, please? Yeah.
Doctor, can we have if we can we have the one-to-one live session if you have time?
For what purpose?
For the topic
Oh, you mean consultation?
discussion, consultation, but just a very short time.
No problem, no problem. It is just like
Uh,
you can start with your messaging first. You can send me text
okay.
first, then we can find
Mm.
some time. If it was just a nice time to talk, then we open the video, or you can use
Yeah.
any other platform. Yeah.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Okay. Are we done with this for now? Okay. If we are
Sir,
done, okay. Yes.
uh,
Suryati.
uh, so can I ask you, for the
Uh,
references, can we use both paraphrase way and direct quoting, or is it restricted
direct
to
quoting.
paraphrase?
No, both can be used. Direct quoting would normally not be long. Direct quoting will be not okay. There are a few things. Direct quoting is not long. You only use few lines, but normally it is only for some reason. For example, you want to exactly highlight what is being said by this particular person because it is so interesting or it is so unique, and so on. Uh, you also want to show the choice of words because it is so worthy to share. That is fine. But if it is something which is very generic word, generic things that he said, it doesn't really need to be quoted because nothing is so special in that kind of terminologies being used. So you can better use paraphrasing. You can say this guy say about what and so on. So actually it's an indirect quotation rather than direct quoting. Yeah, I would prefer that. Only that, for example, you want to talk about censorship of internet in Malaysia, and then it is interesting to see what Tun Mahathir was saying because it is something like so specially, commented from the person who did so much for the internet in Malaysia. So it is also nice to know what he was saying. So you can make that direct quoting. But if it is not having that kind of urge or special interest, I don't really fancy that because there is another reason for that. If you put so many quotings or often you put quotings, then this direct quote can be caught by this anti-plagiarism system or software because it may pick and identify your sentence as it is taken from the other work. So there is a risk of doing that. Yeah.
Doctor, I
Yeah.
I have heard before that we cannot use I, me in our research paper. So can I use the word the writer, which is the writer
Oh,
is the
understand.
expression for me.
Yes, that is normally being done. Either you say the writer or the author. Yeah. You may want to use that, or you may want to just avoid doing that by, for example, it is argued that, or it is observed that such and such. You rather than saying the author argues that. Yeah, so you can actually avoid doing that because we don't want to put this bias. Yeah, even though of course bias must be there from the author, but we don't normally put it in writing. But sometimes you cannot avoid that, so usually you do either the author or the writer. Okay. Can we have the last question? If not, then I will proceed to have few minutes to talk about data protection. Okay, now I think we can go further. Let me now first stop this recording for the purpose of making a new